They've left something on, but it's okay.
Sorry.
Someone will go and check and make sure that nothing's burning. I'm going to be speaking to Dan and Lorna and maybe somebody else as well from the fire brigade. I don't know, because I don't know what they've left on from Skinny Lister in a minute or two. But first, they've got now 20 seconds to go and check while we watch this video. You did it!
Hey!
Seamless.
I never went anywhere.
Lorna, no, come on, you have to tell me now. Where was it you ran to?
Nowhere.
It was downstairs to the kitchen to turn off a pan of pasta.
Oh, well, look, this is real life. These things happen. You know, we all multitask in our lives, don't we? And you know,
some better than others.
Oh, I don't know. I think everybody fakes it when they come to multitasking. Talking about multitasking, I mean, your husband and wife, and you're in a band together, so there's massive multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work for you?
Sort of all right. Yeah. I mean, things have got a bit more difficult lately because we have a 3-year-old now, and she's come on the last couple of tours with us. Particularly, we did an 8-week American tour earlier this year.
Wow.
With a band called Flogging Molly, and we took her with us, and also Lorna's brother Max. They were both 2 at the time. We took their kid as well, so we had 2 2-year-olds with us on the tour bus. So that's kind of multitasking.
Dave King from Flogging Molly used to say he's never seen anything as punk as a double buggy parked up outside the tour bus.
That's real punk. That is.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've got a lovely photo of my eldest, who's now 22. There you are. That kind of puts things into perspective, doesn't it? At a festival, I think he was 6 weeks old. You know, I mean, you've got to start them young. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they'll remember of that last tour, but you know, it'll sort of sink in.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Daddy, have I been to New Orleans? Yes, dear.
You'll remember it, and you will embarrass them with it later on in life, and get the photos out and go, do you remember when? And they go, no, not the Scooby Doos. Couldn't remember any of that.
Shame,
you know. Yeah. And I still want to go back to America now, Dad. You know, and that's just the way these things happen. Is that something you're going to continue with? I mean, what happens when they get to schooling age? We're
not homeschooling. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Homeschooling.
No, we've not put a ton of thought into it yet either. We're going to just sort of take it as it happens.
We've moved closer to my brother so that hopefully Bonnie can stay with her auntie and her cousin whilst we go away for a bit. But time. I'm not sure. We'll just play it by ear.
How does the American audience take to your music?
Good. I mean, we've been going to the US for nigh on 10 years now. But since
do they see it in a different way from the UK audience?
Maybe. I think it hits them in the same kind of way. I think there's something else going on there in that there's a lot of there's a big Irish kind of community, or there's people who have Irish blood in them, and what we do isn't particularly Irish, but it has got that Celtic feel to it, you know. And I think there's something, works with an American audience in that respect. So yeah.
Do they kind of see it as quite authentic then? whereas
I
perhaps they
think so.
sing.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's
I mean,
that's
what
good,
we do is
isn't it?
obviously a bit more English than that, but it's it's got that kind of thing going on, and we've been lucky enough to tour with bands like Flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys and things, and there's a there's a crossover in those audiences, so we've picked up a few fans along the way from bands like that.
So much so we can go out and do a headline tour, which is great.
Which we're doing,
appreciated.
which we head off in a few
Yeah.
days actually for another 4 weeks in the US on the East Coast, and then actually we're with Flogging Molly again. On the end of that, we do the Flogging Molly Salty Dog Cruise, which is amazing. Sails from Miami. We go to on this occasion we go to Mexico and Belize. It was Bahamas last time we did it, wasn't it? But it's going to be nice and warm anyway. It'll be good fun.
I want to take you right back to the beginning of Skinny Lister and where it all started, because your kind of music for me conjures up festivals when I was growing up as well. And for me, you were the kind of band that I would love to go and see on the smaller stage at a festival. The skiffle type bands, or the bands that were doing sort of punky folky type of music on a smaller stand first, like a bandstand type of area, and then maybe see them later on at night on a bigger stage, and kind of see the progression of that. Was that
That's kind of exactly what we used to do, isn't it? In a way, I mean, we used to we sort of cut our teeth on the festival circuit.
I mean, we'd go even if we didn't have a gig, didn't we? Take our instruments.
I think first time we went to Glastonbury, we didn't have a gig, but we'd do a lot of little gigs just on the pathways and stuff in front of people. But I remember we went to Bestival one year, and we had a gig. We had
7 gigs in the weekend.
We had a gig, like you said, on the main stage actually at one point, but before that we were playing as many gigs as we could get.
Played 7, yeah.
It was actually that year where we played. The PRS do their little calculations on who did what, and we did more festivals that year than anyone else in the UK. So we
were geeky enough to fill in our PRS forms more than anyone else.
Wow.
But I know what you mean about the sort of the.
Did you have a T-shirt for that occasion?
We should have done, shouldn't we?
I mean, people, the geeks amongst us, music-wise, would have definitely, that would be worth a fortune now.
Yeah. Well, it was we just had the hardest working band in music mantle for a little bit.
I love that.
But
yeah,
but we do as well, because with every gig there would have been a bottle of rum going with that. Definitely, there were a few hangovers about.
But going back to what you said about the smaller gigs, I mean, we do like those intimate shows. There's little shows as well, I mean, we love big shows too, but kind of that, when you can get something feeling like a pub atmosphere or like a folk club kind of atmosphere, we like that kind of environment. It sort of suits us. But we're just as feel just at home on a big stage, to be honest. When we get lucky enough to do that.
But the thing is, actually, the kind of music you make translates over both of those, because that's the thing. For some bands, it doesn't. That it only works at a certain scale, and or it's too complex. So perhaps,
I mean, that's not something you can accuse of us of being. I don't think too complex. I'm not saying it's not sophisticated in its own way, but it's definitely not complex music, and it's something that I mean, when we started going, it had a thump to it, and it was all about that, and
because we had a stomp box, not a drum kit. So
I was going to say stomp box. Did you have a washboard at all at any point?
We have. Well, when we've done some sort of lit in the Forge and Flag and some party nights, someone would get a washboard out. We've never had it as a staple on the stage. But it's always been something quite trying to, and with this new album we've got, is keep the songs a bit more sort of primal almost. There's nothing too crazy on there. Although, I mean, I've enjoyed on some albums we've gone a bit more into 80s areas, and there's some key changes in bits and stuff, and I quite enjoy that as well. But it never sounds complicated, even when there are some little bits going on like that.
I love in the description on your you know, your press release for this album, etc., that came through, you know, and the kind of sort of mentions of punk and Cajun, etc., in there as well. Were you listening to anything in particular prior to writing this album that you were thinking, I want to kind of get that kind of feel into this?
Not really. I mean, I think the feel of this album came from what we've built up over the years of what Skinny Lister is, and I think the main influence on this album, weirdly, is Skinny Lister. I think. I know that sounds a bit odd, but it's
our own
it's
influence.
Yes. In a way, because we were trying to.
It's true. That hit the nail on the head. Really,
yeah, we were trying to condense what the spirit of Skinny Lister is, and we've taken all sorts in influences over the years. There's bits of ska, or like I said, there's bits of, I don't know, Adam and the Ants, or Dexy's Midnight Runners. There's all sorts of these things we've dipped in, but I think it always comes out sounding like Skinny Lister anyway. But I think this one we've particularly distilled what we think the Skinny Lister sound is, thematically and
constantly trying to get more Skinny Lister from Skinny Lister. Right? That's what you're saying.
For this album, for the other albums we've explored other areas, but this one we just thought, what goes down really good live, because it would be great.
Not in a cynical way either. Not like, you know, trying to manufacture it for.
Well, it's more just let's put all of that aside.
Just
when you want an album to sound as much you as possible, and part of you is this live thing, and this live thing being, you know, the bigger gigs and the smaller gigs, and all of those different ambiences of you as well, then the production on an album that's going to try and achieve that is quite important, if you see what I mean, because it's got, you want it to sound as much of you as possible.
Yeah, that's true. And you almost, on an album like this, want the production to be invisible, and you just want to hear hear the songs. And we went into the studio, me and Tim, who plays the drums, and we just put everything down together. Like, you know, we didn't put the full band live down, but we put me and Tim down and a vocal.
Guitar,
and we didn't touch that again. We didn't tidy anything up. We didn't put anything to a grid. Nothing was done on this album in that respect. Some were done to click, some weren't, but it was just kept as that. The core of it was a live performance without any tinkering. And to be honest, mostly over the years we have tidied some bits up. On this one, we didn't want to. Not that it sounds messy. I just think it maintains a natural feel, I think, and then to build on top of that, I think we kind of maintained that feel that's closer to a live experience, I think.
Yeah, was that a nicer experience as a singer, going over the top of that?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we did is self-produce again, so I can record the vocal without you know, it's just a bit more of a relaxed thing. I can do it here.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's a nice, comfortable recording.
And what we used to find, it happened on a number of albums. I would record demo vocals at home for the album. We'd get into the studio, and it happened more than once that the producer would be like, "We just can't get that feel again. I'm going to use that vocal that you did in your home environment." So I think there is something to be said for doing it this way.
Yeah. Again, going back to your press release, it says that Lorna, you released your inner Dolly Parton on the track. What? What is releasing your inner Dolly Parton live?
I have no idea. God, I wish.
Some of the things that people write in press releases.
I got some chicken fillets out of the fridge.
You do strut, don't you? That's more when you're doing your Tina Turner.
Wait for the next album. My inner Tina Turner will come out. You know, I love a bit of Dolly Parton. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
It's the song Mantra. It's specifically referring to that, which is a kind of it's got a bit more of an Americana feel than we normally do, and it goes into the country kind of vibe, almost Cajun sort of thing a bit. That was the Dolly Parton kind of a reference.
There is a picture of me dressed up as Dolly Parton on our socials.
There is, yeah.
You need to see it.
I do need to see that, don't I? Yeah, absolutely. I'm still sort of reeling from the idea that on the next album we might get a bit of "I'm your private dancer," you know, and that could be quite fun, couldn't it? Yeah, with the big high heels.
I mean, I'm up for it. I'm game.
You're
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah.
Leather
Well done.
mini.
Yeah, exactly. Could bring the leather mini back. Did it ever go? I think one of the things about your music is, for me, it's incredibly accessible. I think, it's the kind of music that I think across generation would be, have something for everybody in it as well. Do you recognise that in your audience? Do you feel like you are reaching families per se within your music?
Yes,
Oh, we definitely have. We definitely have a lot of parents and children and grandchildren, but a lot of people reach out to me because we have my dad, singing on stage. We've actually recorded him on this last album singing his self-penned William Harker, and he's been coming out to shows all over the summer, to festivals and stuff, and getting up and singing William Harker. And I think that strikes a chord with a lot of people in the audience, because they do often message saying, I want to get my dad this, he's a big fan, I'm a fan too, so don't take it, it does seem to be a family thing, and it is cross-generational, so we can have little kids singing John Kanaka, people sending us the videos, sort of thing, and then up to the older generation as well. So it's great, it's nice.
Do you think that's important in a way? Because for me, I think there's a lot of people that kind of lie when it comes to music and what they like and what they listen to, etc. And the reason I say that is because I would actually say that I'm very eclectic in terms of what I listen to. But whenever I say that to lots of other people and they go, yeah, same, I'm incredibly eclectic. And then you start talking to them about different music and they go, never heard of that. No, never heard of that. So what, and you say, what do you actually listen, or if you're rude like me and you go to somebody's house, you actually go and look through their collection and you can soon see that they actually listen to a very narrow band of music, whereas I've got like 6,500 CDs upstairs, so yeah, when I say I listen to a lot of different types of music,
you've got eclectic, probably.
Yes, exactly that. But I think in the race to be, especially these days with like social media and everything, in the race to be sort of like a cool parent, and you may find yourselves falling for this trap yourselves as your kids grow. I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there that are like, I'm really down with listening to Doja Cat, when actually they think it's dreadful. Actually, they really don't want to hear it or whatever themselves. But do you think there are? I think it's great to find areas of music where people genuinely do all get something out of it.
Yeah, I suppose it is accessible. I mean, it's gone through stages. When we first started, we were very sort of folky. I think we went and did the Warped Tour years ago, and I think we then got a drummer, became a slightly punkier thing. And when we first started going to America, we probably had a bit more of a punkier crowd, lots of crowd surfing, all that stuff.
Or you could have somebody with the 3-year-old right at the front in the mosh pit at the barrier, and you know what's going to come next. You're just like, are you mental? Please, don't have your kid at the front of the barrier there, because I know there's going to be crowd surfing, or it's just like.
But there's there was a year where we did Download Festival, and then the next day we played Cambridge Folk Festival. And it's kind of putting those things together. So it's kind of, we are sort of spanning that, that divide, I think, and everyone's welcome.
It's great if you can share music with your family, isn't it? And I guess we're quite open about us being a family band, and that probably is not very threatening. Some of the pictures Dan's put up of me on social media, it's definitely real. It's definitely real.
It's definitely authentic. Yeah. And it is a big
Here's
part.
Lorna in the service station at 2 a.m.
To be honest, there's a picture in New Orleans went up once, isn't it?
Whoa! Whoa!
I better not go into too much more
Mardi
detail
Gras.
on that, but
Say no more.
It came down pretty quickly.
The drummer at the time was like, Dan, are you serious? You can't put
that was
up.
authentic.
Yeah. There's pictures of me just in my pajamas drying tents through to late nights at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. So yeah, no.
Tell us a little bit more about Mantra. Why that particular song as a single to really push at this stage? Because this is the third song. Did you see it as your strongest song, or what was it in particular about Mantra that made you think now's the time?
Well, I mean, we mix the songs up on the album, so I sing a whole bunch of them, and Lorna sings a few, and it is nice to put a few flavors out there off the album. So Lorna singing, the first two were me singing. It was nice to have one that Lorna was singing, and I'm not saying we just put it out because Lorna sang it, but it is nice to have a bit of a cross section of the album.
A few people have said it's their favourite, so
yeah, it's one of my favorites.
So I feel good about that.
Yeah, well, normally on social media, Dan puts up questions saying, what songs do you want us to play on the upcoming tour? And nobody ever puts my songs. So I'm like, boo. So it's nice when they do.
That's a good idea for some of your merch then for the new tour. You could have Team Dan and Team Lorna t-shirts, couldn't you?
Well, we've done
people could choose
for the new album. Yeah, well, for the new album, actually, just last week we put up this. We've got 5 different versions of the full album, each with a bonus shanty on it. Each one is a different cartoon figure of each band member. So in its own way, that is like some sort of popularity contest.
And I will win it. I know that.
but you can, to be diplomatic, you just buy the full lot. You buy all 5. That's what I suggest everyone does.
But let's face it, if you want to write a song that's going to be streamed millions and millions and millions of times and possibly make you money at some stage, it's got to be a Christmas song, isn't it? Have you this Christmas? Are we going to get a Christmas song from Skinny Lister? What with a Cajun feel to it? Maybe.
We'll see.
No, let's do it with the Tina Turner 80s.
Yeah. That sounds like
maybe you could just remix. Maybe you can remix one of the songs from the album with a kind of Christmas feel to it. With some sleigh bells in it, etc. as well. That could go down the tree. Yeah,
I have got.
Have you got sleigh bells
behind us here?
See, he's ready and he's ready and prepared for it. So you may or may not see that happen. Yeah. Well, okay then. I don't normally ask crass questions, but I will ask it because you've got the sleigh bells there. For both of you, your favourite Christmas song of all time?
Ooh. No.
Fairy Tale of New York for me. I know it's obvious, but it is.
We did do a version of it a couple of years ago backstage, didn't we? And
maybe it's that. Maybe it's all those years watching EastEnders. Depressing. Not anymore. I haven't watched it for years, but it was always on, wasn't it? I don't know. That's just for me. It's clever. It's well delivered.
It's witty.
It's interesting. You like Mariah Carey, don't you?
Mariah Carey. Yeah. I like a lot of Christmas songs. I'm a big fan of Christmas songs, unashamedly. I really love the Joni Mitchell one. The River.
What? You much prefer Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh,
way more likely to go on than Joni Mitchell. Get out. That's one of those attempts to try and look cool.
And that's the second clip we're using for the promo of this.
You put that on.
It's been a pleasure, Dan and Lorna, speaking to you today.
Thank you, Graham.
Thank you for joining me for what was a fun chat. Just before we leave, in case people, which is why they haven't, I don't know. If they've never checked out your music before, just tell them about the new album, where they can get it from, and where they can actually spend some money, because that would be really good. That way they can support you. Over to you.
Yeah, well, the new album's called Shanty Punk. It's out on the 20th of October. And you can get it via skinnylister.com is the easiest place to head to. And then you can get it on whatever format you want. You can stream it and, whatever way you would prefer to digest it, you can get it. Yeah, and also we do have merch on there. You want to say about the merch? What merch have we got actually?
There's quite a few boxes of merch down there. It's not up there yet.
There's about to be a whole load of new stuff going up on there, new patches associated with the new album.
But if you haven't got a Shanty Punk t-shirt yet, that's our staple, and it's that is up there. So Shanty Punks Unite.
Yeah. And also we're going on tour very soon. So if you're in the US or the UK or Europe over the next few months, please come and join us for a bit of a Shanty Punk party.
Yay.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, folks, before you go to the tour, buy the t-shirt before you go, because that way, when you see groups of Skinny Lister fans in the pubs in the area where the gigs are going to be held, and you walk in, you won't feel underdressed. So you want to feel part of the crowd.
You also probably get bought a drink.
Yeah, exactly. And what I found in the past by doing that as well, if you buy the band t-shirt and whatever, and you walk into those places, is that typically there won't be any spaces left at any of the tables. But if you're wearing said attire when you walk in, somebody will make room for you. So it's just buy the t-shirt now.
Yeah.
And it's a good way of ensuring that you're going to get a seat. Yeah. So there you go. You may even get, as long as you may even get bought a pint by somebody as well. There's a wonderful family feel to that, I feel. Dan, Lorna, it's been beautiful talking to you today. Thank you so much for this.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. We look forward to seeing you on the road in 2000 and the rest of 2023 and in 2024. Please do go and check out Skinny Lister. Until next time, this has been My Music. If you've enjoyed this today, please do share it with your friends or family or anybody really that you know. Probably not your doctor. They'll probably think you're weird. If you haven't liked it today, then tough. It's been broadcast into your face anyway. All right, and you can now go away.